Welcome back to Merc Vapor Adventures. It's been a little bit since we've been on the interwebs, and a lot of that is just because, well, there's been a lot going on in my world. And I took a little bit of a hiatus from YouTube. I'm very excited to be back. There's a new LLC that I've created called Eclectic House Studios, and I'm very proud to have Merc Vapor Adventures on that channel. And additionally, there's a storefront that we're bringing up. Basically, I'm curating curiosities, both trying to capture the adventures that I take on in this world, but also bring items of interest in front of people. Why am I doing this? Well, one of the big reasons is because I think we lose sight of the stories that things tell, and we have a tendency to live in a very disposable society. That's just not who I am. I believe that we should try to honor items and not throw them into a landfill. And if you no longer use it, find it a home where it can actually live on. So that's like the elevator pitch, and we'll get back to taking a look at what's been going on in my motorcycle world. Before we do that, I've spent a lot of time getting my garage reorganized. I'm setting up cameras in there. There's a new room that I've framed in that's insulated where the lift now lives, so there should be a lot more motorcycle content. And I am super excited to be back on the air, and hope that you'll continue to visit the channel. If living on a hobby farm has taught me anything, it's the importance of being nimble and agile. And in my normal line of work, agile is a word that's used quite a bit. I sometimes wonder if people really know what that means. It does have to do with adaptability. It also has to do with feedback loops. And in my world, out on a hobby farm, a lot of the feedback loops are given from Mother Nature herself. Specifically, time to quit because it's raining, time to work because it's nice, and because the work needs to be done. Something doesn't work because it rots or it breaks. It's about entropy and how everything in the world has a tendency to break down. It's there for a limited amount of time. Additionally, there's a whole lot that we think we have overpowered. And it's true, our intellect, putting our collective minds together, has made us a dominant force on this planet. But I think about a quote from one of my TV shows. We've learned to live on the planet and not with it. Without getting too philosophical, I think that's something worth investigation and thinking and reflecting on. It's that it's a constant struggle if you're trying to live on the planet to ward off Mother Nature. If you don't do regular maintenance, it doesn't take long before Mother Nature comes in. And if you don't believe me, watch some of the videos, the fascinating videos about the abandoned mansions and people exploring them. So to that end, I'm out working in the yard, and I thought I would bring you along with me and share some things that I've been thinking about as I've been working today. We're going to talk a little bit about this building. And this part here, I built, it's one of my first outbuildings about 12 or 13 years ago. And you can see the roost and the bin, and you can probably guess it's a chicken coop, and indeed it is. This was built as an addition. A friend of mine and I put it together thinking we would make it one of those rolling coops around the yard, but then proceeded to build it too big. It has lasted about 10 years, and I'm in the process of taking it apart in order to build a run with the new building. You'll see that the paint is peeling and we haven't stayed on top of it like we should, and lo and behold, there's some rot in the siding. Now, that's nothing I can't fix, and I intend to do that in the main part of the building. And the roof, unbelievably, has never leaked, even though I've gotten much better about handling roofs. And as I'm doing it, I'm harvesting hardware. And you may ask, well, how cheap do you have to be in order to harvest old hardware and screws and things like that? And I'd say, yeah, okay, maybe I'm a little bit cheap, but I spent a vast majority of my life throwing these things and not finding a way to reuse them. And I'm not saying be a hoarder, not at all. I'm just saying it's a shame how disposable society has become. How we take perfectly good things and throw them in the landfill without a second thought, just because it is a little work to reuse. I'm actually baffled by that on reflection, especially with everyone talking about how important the environment is, and we don't spend enough time talking about upcycling. But I'm going to get off that soapbox and just say there are pieces of this that are rotten that I will get rid of. But there's plenty here that I can pull out and use to build other projects. Okay, well, it's time to run some errands. And this is the Jeep. You can see the headliner looks really nice now. That's a reminiscent of my daughter. I thought that was pretty cool, so we're leaving that in there. And put its stereo in there. See if we can find some wall anchors and some hardware and various other things for the shop. As I go into the garage, you'll see right here the trusty XJ that I've been working on. Putting in a new radiator. This is an aluminum one. I bought it off of Amazon. It had pretty good reviews, but the tolerances on one of the fittings were off. It didn't fit. I've since read that aluminum radiators can leak. So rather than trying to contact this manufacturer and get a new fitting, I just went ahead and bought a steel radiator. But we also put on this new bumper, which I think looks pretty cool. It looks a little goofy without the front shroud on, but we'll get that put back on, and it should be a nice addition. The old bumper was really fading and looked old, and given that this Jeep is from 2000, it's looking pretty good 24 years later.